we go. Okay, good evening, Mahopac community. Welcome to our public Board of Education meeting for November 19th, 2020. Could I have a motion to open this meeting?
So moved.
Tanner McCracken. Thank you, Trustee McCracken. Second.
Second.
Second, I thought that was Larry. Larry, Trustee Keene, thank you. I thought that's what I saw. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this moment, I'd like to take a moment of silence as we lost two members of our Mahopac, our family, our school family, and our community, Denise Ryan and Mike Moore. Our hearts go out to the families. I know, officer, husband, and father Michael Moore, his wife Janine, and then the kids Jenna, Ryan, and John. So sorry for your loss, and our thoughts and prayers are with you during this difficult time. Denise, husband Robert, and children Heather, Shane, and Preston. Again, extremely sorry for the loss. I know it's difficult. It's a very difficult time. They meant a lot to this community and dedicated their lives to this community. So again, our heartfelt sorrow and we're with you here through this difficult time. So thoughts and prayers. With that, what I'd like to do now is I'd like to turn it over to our esteemed Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Anthony DiCarlo. Anthony, take it away.
Thank you, President Morgan. Thank you very much. It's with great pleasure that I introduce Andrea Jenkins, and she's our chair for the Rice Club for Racial Inclusion and Cultural Empowerment. They'll be giving us a presentation. Welcome, Andrea. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Hi, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for giving me the chance to present this club to you guys. So also here with me, I have Chloe Lowe, who is our vice president, and Alex Magliari, he's our treasurer. So I'll share my screen for the presentation and we can get started. I hope everyone can see it. Okay, so today I'm presenting the Rice Club, and RICE stands for Racial Inclusion and Cultural Empowerment.
Presenting today is Drea. She's the club president. Me, I'm the club vice president, and last year I was the secretary, and Alex, who is a junior this year, is our treasurer.
So, RICE's purpose and origins. Before I start, I'd like to point out that the name, the purpose, and the bylaws were updated for further inclusivity and to broaden the outreach. So the former name of the club was the African American and Caribbean Club, which, as you can see, that's what the purpose pertains to. But we did update that to include more students. So I'll read the purpose that we have on our slides right now. To help African American students, Caribbean American students, and students of color feel proud about their cultures and backgrounds. To celebrate our heritage by sharing with all students our African American and Caribbean culture, history, and traditions. And to have a welcoming space for students of color to feel safe and accepted around like-minded students. And again, these were changed to include more students. And the origins of the club. This club was originally started, and the idea was originally brought up by my sister, Tiana Penn, 10 years ago, and she brought it to Miss Johnson, but it faltered after she graduated. And someone attempted to restart it, but again, that faltered. And last year, I decided to revive the club, and I was able to gather a group of students, and that's why we are here today.
We currently have 14 members. 9 of them are seniors, and 4 of them are juniors. We do intend on, again, broadening who we are audience and members as well.
So, the club's accomplishments. In June, we had a successful live stream on Instagram. And with that live stream, we created a welcoming platform for students to speak and listen after the public outcry following George Floyd's death. Students were able to share their experiences with discrimination and racism, and students watching the live stream were able to listen to those experiences and learn from them. And the live stream currently has 183 views and counting. Another accomplishment we had was the successful planning of the showing of the HBO documentary True Justice. And I say planning because it was canceled due to COVID-19, and we're working on rescheduling that now as a virtual showing. But the documentary explores topics of systemic racism and discrimination in the justice system, and we successfully planned a location, date, and time last year.
This is just the flyer from the live stream I created, which was one of my jobs that I had to do as secretary. The name of the live stream was Our Movement Isn't a Trend, and we held it June 8th, and it was about an hour, and it was extremely successful because we, like Drea said, we were allowed to share not only our own personal experiences, but to help further educate people on the experiences that they may not be able to have themselves, but they can understand it from our perspective.
So these are some screenshots from the live stream. As you can see down here, it says we had, as I said, 183 views and counting, and it is up on the club's Instagram, which is mhs.riceclub.
These are our current planned events that we eventually want to have in the future. We're planning to have another Instagram live next week in regards to the election as well as the coronavirus. And again, with the True Justice movie showing that we're attempting to plan to see how we can figure out a way to do it virtually.
And this club would be very beneficial to the school, and it would create a safe space for students of color. It would help to educate students about different cultures and races that they might not know about or might not have a lot of information on. It'll help to foster a strong relationship between students of different cultures and races, and also help form a sense of unity among our students and classmates to help bring us closer together.
The effects of not having this club, students of color could potentially feel out of place at Mahopac High School, loss of Mahopac students of color due to resilient mentality, and loss of a safe space for students.
So that's the end of our presentation.
Well, Andrea and Chloe, thank you. Andrea and Chloe, great job. Thank you very much. Great presentation. I'm sorry, I compliment both of you on really saying to ourselves, you know what, even though it faltered in the past, you know, we really think that it's something important and we want to be able to bring it back up and resurrect it through, you know, working with Ms. Johnson and working with Dr. Lawrence and his administrative team. So we thank you very much for presenting it to us tonight. You know, whatever we can do or I can do, and I know, you know, our cabinet feels that way. That's, you know, Mr. Trombeck, Dr. Stoll, Ms. Legato, Ms. Cloesi, however we can be of help, you know, we're here to be helpful, and we want to see the program become a big success. So thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you. Next up, we have introducing Mr. Sean Flanagan. He will be presenting the EVO 4040 Evolving in Art Presence at MHS. Mr. Flanagan, Sean.
Hi, everyone. I actually will not be presenting, but the club officers will be. That's Abby Park and Emmanuel Martinez. They're our club officers, so they're going to present the club.
Thank you.
It says the host disabled participant screen sharing. Is there a way that can be enabled?
You should be all set now. You're co-hosting.
Okay.
Go get him, Abby.
Okay, so I am Abigail Park, and I'm one of the club officers of EVO 44 at Mayapack High School, and it's an art club where we work on branding and design for the school.
I'm Annie Martinez, and I'm also one of the club officers. And the purpose of our club is to evolve the art presence at MHS, and that means like branding for school events. But we're also want to provide a safe and motivational place for students to create, inspire one another, and work on independent artworks and to collaborate with other fellow artists. And you can see in the picture that's some club members doing exactly that. Some of our past projects are the Wooden Warrior Chief, which you can see in the top left corner. And then to the right of that is the Mailpack Snack Shack banner, which we had students from Mr. Flanagan's digital design class actually create characters and be able to put them all together in this banner here. And the Mailpack Steel Drums poster was made by someone in our club, and I did both illusion posters.
So for our club funding, we're planning to run the club like a business. So in order to be self-sufficient this year, we're generating funds through selling Mayapack branded t-shirts that resemble popular brands as seen on the right. And these are all designs that were created by club members, and they will be printed on t-shirts and sold very soon. And we previously planned annual field trips that didn't work out because of Corona, but for the fall we plan to go to the MoMA, or the Museum of Modern Art, and in the spring to go to the Storm King Art Center.
And if you're interested in joining, you can email me, Mr. Flanagan, or Abby, and our Google Classroom code is on our social media, and you can find that we meet on Thursdays from 2 to 10 to 2:45.
And on the right, you can just see a picture of our club from the club yearbook, from the school yearbook, and that's the end of our presentation.
Well, Abby and Manny, thank you very, very much. What's great about this is now some of the t-shirts and things that we do now can all be done in-house, which I think is great. When we have specific events and theme days, that's a wonderful thing. So art is, I think, such an important part of creativity, and we really want to make sure that we're here to support you in whatever we can do. What's interesting is as we are reconstituting the middle school and the high school, and we're looking at a campus-like setting, I'm sure we'll be able to come to you and your group and Mr. Flanagan and talk about some ideas that you may see to kind of enhance, the arts around the campus, not only inside but outside. That would be awesome. So that's really exciting news. Thank you.
Thank you.
How can the t-shirts be acquired?
Sorry. Sorry, was there a question?
Yes, I was wondering how we could acquire the t-shirts, buy them.
Oh, so we will be sending out a Google form where you can place your order, and we'll have all of the options for the t-shirts, and you just have to fill out the form, and the payment method will be to bring cash to our room 44. Yeah, so that's how our payments for the shirts will be made.
So we can do, Abigail, and I'll work with Mr. Flanagan. Mr. Flanagan can send the actual order forms to the clerk, and then she can disseminate it to the board. The board can, we'll give you a date that we have to get that stuff in, and then we can come by and send you what we like in sizes. That's great.
Terrific. Thank you.
Yeah, adult large.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good job.
President Mongan, back to you. Thank you.
Okay, communications on agenda items only. Comments on our agenda items for this evening. So what I'd like to do now is like to go down to the Treasury report for September 2020. Can I get a motion to accept the Treasurer's report for September 2020?
So moved.
Dave Fafaro, thank you. Second.
Second.
Second. I think it was Mike. Mike Simone. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Warrants for September 2020. Can I get a motion to accept the warrants for 2020?
So moved.
Larry, I had Larry Keane. Second.
Second.
Ben, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Revenue status and appropriation status, July to September 2020. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Adam Savino, thank you, Vice President. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Ray. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Budget transfers for July to September 2020. Motion to approve the budget transfers.
So moved.
Thank you, Michael. Mike Simone, trustee, thank you. Second.
Second.
Second, Dave Fafaro. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you, guys. Okay. Statement of activity for extra classroom funds, quarter ending September 2020. A motion to approve.
So moved.
Adam, thank you. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Larry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Regular Board of Education meeting minutes of October 22nd, 2020. May I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Michael, thank you. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Ray. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And the special board meeting minutes of November 12th, 2020. A motion to accept the special board meeting minutes.
I got a point of inquiry on that.
Do I have?
Just got a quick question about it. I'm not seeing it on my agenda. I don't have a link to the special meeting minutes for November 12th. I was wondering if it was available.
District Clerk Baca?
I'm sorry, Tanner, what aren't you seeing?
So I'm on the agenda and I saw the minutes for the regular meeting, but then it just says special meeting of November 12th, and I'm not actually seeing the minutes for it. So I was just wondering where it was.
It should be on that link. And I did have to take off the work session minutes because we were having a problem with it, but this one doesn't seem to be.
It's probably just my end. I apologize. It's probably just my end.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I'll look into it further, but I think it might be on your end. So I'm not sure.
Okay. So Tanner, we'll get that information for you. So can we go back and can we get a motion to accept the special board meeting minutes of November 2020?
So moved.
So Dave, Lucy, second.
Second.
Thank you, Lucy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, I'll turn it over to our esteemed superintendent again, Mr. Anthony DeCarlo, for his superintendent report.
Thank you, President Mongan. And as you are aware, in a letter that I sent out yesterday with regards to the testing zones and protocols, as well as a spotlight that I did, were very, very informational. I really encourage you, if you haven't read that, letter was sent home, to take a look at it, because it really kind of explains where we're at with COVID and the tick up in the Mid-Hudson area. Literally any day we may have to go to a yellow zone, and then quickly after that we might wind up being orange, and it really talks about what can happen and will happen both remotely, and then what possibilities may be down the road for testing. So I really encourage you to read yesterday's email letter, as well as, if you can, take a look at the spotlight over the weekend. As you know, things are breaking literally every day. As I mentioned, the county executives from the 3 counties up in this area are encouraging everybody to make sure they socially distance and wear their masks. When it comes to zones, we're approaching a yellow zone, which would trigger us going fully remote as we await for some of the testing information from the Department of Health. Then if we happen to go later on to an orange zone, that's a whole different situation. So please, as I've mentioned, make sure that at any point in time you have your materials or supplies ready for you at home. Mr. Tremblay, our assistant superintendent for curriculum instruction, has spoken with our leadership teams, our principals, has spoken with our teachers, and we are ready to go to remote should we have to do that in the short term. With that being said, there's a couple of great things that are going on. As we are here, our girls soccer team is playing against Yorktown in the semifinals. The last I heard, we're in overtime, and it's a 1-1 game. So continue to keep your fingers crossed that the girls are able to pull it out. But no matter what, they've had a great season. As well as our field hockey team, we lost in the semifinals yesterday to the number 1 seed, Horace Greeley, 3-0. But our girls did an outstanding job this season, really competitive, a number of great wins. And we want to congratulate our senior girls and wish them all the best. And we welcome back our underclassmen and our JV squad, who was undefeated this year in field hockey, to a great season come next fall of 21. And God willing, we'll be able to see them, watching them play on the field. So we're excited about that. We're also excited, as you know, a couple of years ago, Mahopac Middle School and High School added an additional period because we were lacking in contact time. And one of the things that we talked about, we're putting in these classes in the middle school for 6th graders to get ready for the academic, social, emotional rigors of middle school. And then we did the same thing in our freshman year to get ready for the academic and social, emotional rigors that are going to take place in high school. And I am proud to say, just finishing our 2nd year, that we have been asked to be presenters at the Regional Curriculum Council Professional Program for Development, which is going to take place on December 4th. Our assistant principal, H.O. Lumich, and Kelly Posh will be presenting MHS Life. And as a part of that, it's called, lasting relationships and forming them in a virtual world. And we are so excited that we're going to be presenting. It's a tribute to the work and dedication by our high school, by Miss Lumich, by Miss Posh, and the teachers that are doing that program. It's a great program. We're very, very proud of it. And to be able to get those accolades only after finishing our 2nd year is a great, great accomplishment. So kudos to Mahopac High School and the great work that's going on. And then last but not least, we're approaching Thanksgiving, and just a quick little something for our entire community. As we celebrate the Thanksgiving holiday, we as a community, faculty, and staff hope that we have taught our children to be grateful for all that we have given, or all that they have been given. I take this opportunity to tell each of you how grateful I am and all that you do for students day in and day out. That's for our staff. I marvel at your patience, your concern, and your timeless efforts to impart a sense of hope, caring, and kindness during these unprecedented times in education. I'm also keenly aware of the hectic months that are ahead of us and the difficult times that we may have to go through. I thank you as parents for giving your child or children a deep-rooted love for learning. Thank you for your continued support in helping us work towards keeping our schools and communities safe. May you all enjoy a peaceful, safe, and happy Thanksgiving recess with your families. So all the best to everybody. Also to the board, trustees, your families, very much peace and family during the holiday. I know we've all been taxed emotionally, physically over these last 8 to 9 months. Hopefully there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and you were hearing, that there's vaccines on the horizon. Not that it's going to happen in a month or two, but maybe God willing at the end of the winter and April, and we'll be able to get through this pandemic together. So again, happy Thanksgiving to all. Back over to you, President Mongan.
Thank you, Superintendent Carl, and your lips to God's ears on everything that you said, please. We need a break here, Okay, let's jump down to committee reports. Let's start off with finance. Ben, trustee.
Sure. We met on November 5th
7:35 p.m. We ended at about 8:40 p.m. In attendance was myself, Trustee Lucy Masafra, President Michael Mongan, Assistant Superintendent of Business Sandra Clohesi, and Treasurer Lisa Zareski. As we talked about earlier in this year, maybe in July or August session, the business office is going through reorganization, and it continues with extensive training on MAG Advisors. A company provided 6 hours of comprehensive training for payroll, HR, and benefits, primarily on the Envision financial management system, which is a comprehensive system that includes HR components. A new payroll clerk started on October 26th of this year and is onboarding, basically being thrown into the deep end of the pool, but seems to be swimming pretty well, according to Sandra. So that's good. As part of the response to the non-instructional payroll audit, that's the transportation audit that was conducted by the Office of State Controller, the business office has been having weekly meetings with BOCES and Timepiece. That's the company that is installing a software system, which is a real-time, fully integrated time and attendance management software that's used in school districts and other municipalities. This system is going to be rolled out, correct me if I'm wrong, for first-time bus drivers and the custodial staff, and fobs will be used to clock in and out, and supervisors will be able to view data in real time. So this is a huge step in automating the clocking in and clocking out, which is replacing, I'm assuming, a paper process. So this will be rolled out, and there's an additional training, I believe, being held tomorrow. So that continues going on, and this will have a great impact on tightening up the controls and giving us real-time data. Other audits have been taken place. There's an annual audit which is not finalized yet. This is the external non-governmental audit conducted by Bonadio and Company. That should be completed fairly shortly, and once that's done, we'll have either a verbal report and or a written report. In terms of some of the things that you just heard, the Finance Committee also requested a couple of things which you just heard President Mongan describe in his report. Monthly budget versus actual expenses to be reported moving forward, and that's in the revenue status report, the appropriation status report, and then also there's a budget line transfer report. So these are as detailed reports as you can get from the finance office. So I'm proud of the fact that we asked for this literally like less than 2 weeks ago, and Sandra and her team was able to provide that in this meeting. So I want to thank her and her team for being able to do that. And I think it's a good, solid step going forward to be able to provide as detailed financial transaction as anybody who wants to look at it, as a finance geek and wants to get into the detail, it's definitely there. So thanks to Sandra, and back to you, President Mongan. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ben. Great job with the Finance Committee, and I certainly echo your comments. The team is doing a terrific job in some very, very uncertain times. I'd like to jump over to safety. Dave Fafaro. Dave, do you have a report, Dave? I'm sorry, I wasn't.
I was actually unable to make the safety meeting, but I don't know, maybe Lucy, I think she might have been there.
Yeah,
we didn't have it. It ended up being canceled.
He got canceled, okay.
So I'm sorry about that, Dave.
So no report, no worries.
No, I apologize. Let's head over to technology. Let's go with Adam. Adam, Vice President Savino, jump in. Technology.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. The Technology Subcommittee met on November 10th, beginning at 6:30 in the evening. Present was Dr. Stoll, Trustee Simone, Vice President Savino, and President Mongan. We covered a lot in a relatively short amount of time, starting with the internet traffic within the district. We're still performing as we should. The infrastructure upgrades are just about complete, which will open our pipeline to the capability of 10 gigs. Not that we'll necessarily need it, but the availability will be there if we do need it. The wireless guest network in the schools has been disabled at this time to ensure connectivity and bandwidth for students and teachers in the buildings. As we all know, there's no guests in the building anyway, so this does not have any negative effect on anyone. The new Chromebook delivery, which usually happens earlier in the school year, the beginning of the school year, they're now expected at the end of November. The units will then be provisioned and deployed. Either the tentative target is just before the break in December or just after. We discussed the Chromebook insurance subscription rate for this year, which is about 80%, which is fantastic. Glad to see people are taking advantage of that. We went over the number of MiFi units deployed for people that needed to have their families connected to or Google Classroom. Currently, we have about 12 deployed in the district. Got a brief update on the Smart School Bonds Act. COVID has may delay some of the work being done by in-house staff, but we're still looking to get that working. Some of it's still in the works with the approvals. We began a baseline discussion on the long-term plans for the Chromebook fleet and deployments. As you know, this year, in March of last year, every student was issued a Chromebook to take home. Looking into the future to see what our needs may be going forward. So those discussions have begun. We developed plans over time for that. We discussed again the number of tickets, which just about over 2,400 tickets, staff and students combined. Some of the interesting statistics, the completion rates, 35% of them are resolved with less than a day, 30% in less than 5 days. And overall, 77% of that number of tickets is closed in less than 10 days, which is a huge accomplishment for our tech team. We then discussed the repairs that are now being handled in-house rather than having to sending units out. Due to the persistence of the tech staff, we were able to obtain parts from Acer to some of the high failure parts that we are now changing in-house to reduce downtime. It enabled us to keep our units available for swap outs and keep everybody connected. So with that, a huge shout out to the tech team, Dr. Stoll and his entire crew for this amazing feat in keeping us connected and our students engaged and able to learn. The meeting was adjourned at 7:30, and that is the end of my report. Thank you.
Mr. Vice President, thank you very much for the detailed report. Yeah, I really enjoyed the committee meeting, and also just echo your sentiments with regards to the tech team and Greg's team. They're doing an amazing job. When you think about 60,000 kids down in New York City still without a laptop or the ability to remote, it's really mind blowing what we've been able to do just on a smaller scale and keep everybody involved and up to date. So thank you to the tech team and to Dr. Stowell and the technology department. I'd like to move over to Human Resources. Senior Trustee Lucy Musafra.
Good evening, everyone. I just also wanted to comment that policy did not meet this month, and we will be meeting in early December. As far as Human Resources, we met on Thursday, November the 12th, and in attendance was myself, Assistant Superintendent Ms. Deborah Legato, Superintendent Anthony DiCarlo, Trustee Adam Savino, and Trustee Mike Mongan. We discussed many of the items that are on this evening's consent agenda, such as new hires, tenure appointments, and resignations that are listed there. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Musafra. Okay, so we'll move right down over to the consent agenda. Could I get a motion to approve the consent agenda for this evening as set forward?
I request to pull an agenda item off the consent agenda.
What item would that be, Trustee McCracken?
It would be subject E, the Westchester Putnam School Board Association resolution.
Okay, can I have a second on that?
Does it need a second, or can just any school board member just pull it?
No, it needs a second when you're
Okay.
pulling that. So,
I'll second it then. I don't think it needs a second.
oh, I thought it did. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry. Roll call vote. Melody, please call it out.
I'm sorry, which one are we pulling here, Michael?
It's E. It's the we didn't see it on Tuesday. It was put on for today. It's the Westchester Putnam School Board Association resolution to keep school buildings open. So, all right. So we had a second. All in favor?
This is just to pull a resolution, right? Are we voting on a resolution, Mike, or are we just pulling it?
No, we're going to we're going to discuss it.
Okay.
All right. So, but everybody's okay to discuss. In favor of discussing?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So, I think our superintendent, I think Anthony put it back. Anna, go ahead, jump in. Anthony, you guys dovetail in.
Yeah, I was just wondering if the superintendent wanted to kind of present it, introduce it. I thought it was very important. I'm really in favor of it, so I didn't want to just get swept with one vote. I thought it was important to talk about it. So,
Yeah,
Superintendent DiCarlo.
Thank you, Tanner. So we got this from the Westchester School Boards Association, and it, that sometimes the timing is the timing, and you deal with it as you can. So Westchester Putnam School Boards Association is basically saying, hey, listen, you're putting a lot of ownership on the school districts to test. We don't have the capacity and the money to be able to do that. So if you want the schools to do it, you got to provide the machines, you got to provide the test kits, you have to provide the training, and it's basically saying that, okay, we're not against keeping schools open. We want to. But right now, the onerousness, I'm trying to get the schools to do it and having to spend money to do it is just something we just don't have the capacity to do because, as you know, we don't know even where this year's budget is going to go. So that was the Westchester School Board sent it out. They asked that other schools, the boards look at it and adopt it so that, we can say to the governor and to our, legislators, hey, listen, we need some support to be able to do this. So that's the purpose behind it.
Yeah, and if I could, just to go off of that, I strongly agree with this resolution. I thought it was really important. You can't, as government, you can't mandate something and not provide the support behind it. It just doesn't make sense, and it's not fair to us, and it's not fair to the other school districts around us. So I think it's really critical for the Board of Education, if we do pass this, to stand together and unify when we reach out to our governor and reach out to our two state representatives. So I'm always in favor of being political advocates for the community. So I'm strongly in favor of this, and I'm definitely going to be voting aye.
Thank you, Trustee McCracken.
Any discussion?
I'll make a motion to pass this or call this a question.
It's part of the consent agenda, right? Or did we remove it?
I think you removed it.
Mm-hmm.
So did we vote on the consent agenda yet, or we still have to do that first, and then we're going to do this one?
Do the consent agenda first.
Yeah, so we have to do the consent agenda first.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So
moved.
Luce?
Second.
Dave, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and now the motion to adopt
Item E.
Item E, the Westchester Putnam School Board Associated resolution, keep school buildings open.
So moved.
So moved.
McCracken, second. Lucy, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, let's do. Just wanted to. The girls soccer beat Yorktown 2-1.
Wow.
That was on penalty kicks after 2 overtimes. So
Listen,
So President Mongan, it's Saturday at Somers 1, but we don't know what time yet. So I'll update the board and the community.
Wow.
So it's Mayapack versus Somers for Putnam Northern Westchester Big School Championship on Saturday.
wow.
Terrific.
My heart goes out to those girls. They were undermanned. It's unbelievable. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry I had to bust in, guys. I'm really sorry about that. But thank you for the approval on the for Clemp. So right now, what I'd like to do is I'd like to go to resident comments, and District Clerk LaRocca. We have we believe we have one resident comment for this evening.
We do. I'll bring him in now. It's a resident of Mayapack, Mr. Daniel Aaron Price.
Okay, terrific. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Wow.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi, Daniel.
Hello. So my name is Daniel Aaron Price, and I want to clarify who I am. I'm an alumni of the system you represent, class of 2012, and I've thrived throughout my years growing up within the Mahopac Central School District. I was a straight A student, president of 2 student groups, and an officer of 6 organizations. I truly bleed blue and gold, and Mahopac has only held the highest place in my heart. I'd like to start by recognizing Superintendent DiCarlo's words at your work session on Tuesday about starting this process to face racial inequities and discrimination within the school system, and how we are all here for the same goal: creating an environment in the Mahopac Central School District that is conducive for quality learning and inclusion for all. The reason I message you is because I see common ground between us. As a public health professional, I can confidently say there are 2 public health crises simultaneously occurring: COVID-19, and systems that have been formed by and have not publicly recognized centuries of historical discrimination, marginalization, and brutality against Black, Indigenous, people of color, leaving your current constituents of color in an environment incompatible with higher education. Let us not forget the scarring history of our town, where the last cross burning on a Black family's lawn happened in 1992, the year my older brother was born. On June 1st of this year, Mahopac for Racial Justice sent all of you a letter laying out 3 action steps you can take immediately to address and proactively chip away at racial injustice in Mahopac. Here we demanded that you retire the Indian mascot, create a committee on diversity and inclusion, and ensure timely public response to condemn acts of hate. I've heard murmurs of progress, especially at your last work session, but nothing explicit and made tangible to the public. The community was promised listening sessions that are public and recorded. We've been ambiguously told, not right now, later. When asked how you came to the conclusion that upholding a race-based mascot is appropriate, despite conclusive peer-reviewed literature and statistics stating otherwise, you disregarded our request and admonished any semblance of productive conversation with your community. Today, I come to you asking for the following: transparency throughout processes and decision-making, eliminating residency requirements to speak at BOE meetings so as to recognize alumni as district stakeholders, the creation of a genuinely multidisciplinary equity and diversity task force, meaning inclusion of stakeholders of color as well as alumni, utilizing data to drive decisions as opposed to personal opinions and harbored feelings, requiring that you hire an organization with a racial justice focus that is run by people of color to evaluate the school system's processes for equity and inclusion. I also wish to pose the following questions to be answered by administration and the trustees of the BOE. Are you actually willing to have these difficult conversations, choosing to discuss openly and respectfully with myself and other community members demanding these changes? How do you plan to make decision-making processes, your full set of district policies, and meetings genuinely accessible to the public? Do you acknowledge the hundreds of racially incited testimonies that we have sent you as a demand for structural change in the Mahopac Central School District? How do you intend to pursue common ground over these issues? Let us engage in conversation instead of divisiveness. Enough ignoring my emails and enough of pushing off the conversation. We share a similar goal, and that alone should bring us together. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate very much the passion and certainly your pride that you have for our Mahopac community and your years here. It's certainly, we're not trying to duck the question at all, but obviously, we're just looking at something that's just a little bit bigger than everybody right now with this pandemic and things like that. But your questions are not going to go unheard. As we said earlier, and as I told as we said earlier, I told you earlier that it's on our radar screen for 2021. We are starting to to get into some things, but believe me, your comments this evening will not fall on deaf ears, and I appreciate you coming on with us tonight and sharing your insight and your story with us, Daniel. Thank you very much. I'm very proud that Mahopac produced a fine young man like yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, President Mongan. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Okay. Excellent. Okay. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel contracts. Due to the technical limitations, it won't be possible to end the meeting with a virtual public session. Please be advised that the Board of Education will take no action after the executive session other than to ask for a motion, second, to move from executive session and adjourn the meeting, and to ask members to vote on the motion. A record of the time and motions are made and the result of the votes made by our district clerk and included in the minutes of the meeting. So what I'd like to do right now is make a motion to go into executive session. Adam, thank you. Second?
Second.
Ray, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Our community, please stay safe. And again, congratulations to the to girls soccer. So we'll go into executive. Thank you.